What if the real reason you're misunderstood, doubted, or manipulated is because you shared too much? Why do the most respected, powerful people speak less, but are heard more? Imagine holding a kind of silent power that keeps others intrigued, cautious, and unable to predict your next move. In a world obsessed with visibility, there's a hidden advantage in privacy. Let's explore the quiet power that comes from keeping your life to yourself. Have you ever wondered why the most powerful people in the world rarely speak about their personal lives? Why do the most influential figures remain reserved, letting their actions do the talking? There's a reason for this one, that most people fail to realize the less people know about you, the more control you have over your life. If you've ever felt drained, misunderstood, or even betrayed after sharing too much, this video will change how you see the world. Why do we feel the need to tell people everything? Why do we reveal our plans, our struggles, and our deepest thoughts so easily? It all comes down to human psychology. The brain is wired for connection from childhood. We're conditioned to believe that sharing brings us closer to others. And while that may be true in some cases, it's also a dangerous trap. When you talk too much, you expose yourself, you open the door for judgment, criticism, and manipulation. You think you're building trust, but in reality, you're giving people ammunition. The mind craves validation. That's why people rush to announce their goals, hoping for encouragement. But studies show that when you talk about your ambitions before achieving them, your brain releases the same dopamine as if you had already succeeded. That full sense of accomplishment makes you less likely to follow through. Talking tricks your mind into feeling like the work is already done. And that's why most people never reach their full potential. They waste their energy on words instead of action. Then there's the illusion of closeness. People believe that sharing personal details will bring them closer to others, but not everyone deserves access to your inner world. Some people listen not to understand, but to gather information. Some will smile to your face and spread your words behind your back, and some will act supportive while secretly hoping for your downfall. Silence is protection. The less you reveal, the less control others have over you. Keeping your emotions, plans, and struggles to yourself forces people to judge you by your actions, not your words. It removes their ability to interfere with your path. The strongest people don't seek validation. They move in silence. They let their results speak. They understand that privacy isn't secrecy, it's power. Stay with me until the end, and you'll discover a powerful secret that can give you an edge in life. A secret that most successful and respected individuals follow religiously. Now, let's talk about why silence and mystery are your greatest strengths. Why do people overshare? It starts with a simple psychological need: validation. We crave connection, approval, and understanding. That's why we tell people about our dreams, our struggles, and our plans. We want to feel seen. We want to feel heard. But here's the truth: most people don't care as much as you think they do. The human brain is wired for self-interest. Everyone is focused on their own problems, their own ambitions, and their own struggles. They might listen to you, but do they truly care? Or are they just gathering information? Psychology tells us that when we share too much, we give away pieces of ourselves that can be used against us. Our words become data, our emotions become leverage. The more people know about you, the easier it is for them to judge, manipulate, or even sabotage you. What happens when you stay silent? Imagine walking into a room and saying nothing. People will start wondering about you. They'll try to figure you out. The less they know, the more their minds fill in the blanks. And here's where it gets interesting: people always assume more about those who reveal less. Psychologists call this the ambiguity effect. When information is missing, the human brain tends to fill the gaps with mystery, admiration, or even fear. This means that by simply speaking, less you naturally gain respect, and intrigue. Silence makes people curious. It gives you power. It forces others to observe rather than assume. They already know everything about you, and when you do speak, your words carry more weight. The hidden cost of oversharing. Oversharing isn't just about giving away too much information, it's about losing control. When people know your thoughts, they can predict your actions. When they know your weaknesses, they can exploit them. Think about it. How many times have you told some of your plans only to feel discouraged when they doubted you? How many times have you opened up only to feel judged later? How many times have you shared a goal only to find yourself losing motivation? There's a reason for that. Studies show that when you talk about your goals before achieving them, your brain releases the same dopamine as if you had already succeeded. This tricks your mind into feeling accomplished, making you less likely to follow. Through keeping things private protects your momentum. Why mystery is magnetic? People are naturally drawn to mystery. The less they know, the more they want to know. Think about the most admired individuals, leaders, entrepreneurs, even celebrities. The ones who keep their private lives hidden are always the most intriguing. When you maintain an air of mystery, you command attention without seeking it. You don't have to prove yourself. You don't have to explain yourself. People respect those who are selective with their words because it signals strength, confidence, and emotional control. The world doesn't need to know your every thought, your struggles, your plans, your emotions. These are yours to protect. You don't owe explanations to anyone. The less you reveal, the stronger you become. Final thought. The reward of silence. Now here's what most people will never tell you. The less they know, the freer you are. Freedom isn't just about what you do, it's about what you don't say. When no one knows your next move, no one can stop you. When no one knows your struggles, no one can use them against you. And when no one knows your deepest thoughts, you stay in control of your own mind. So starting today, embrace silence. Let people wonder. Let them assume. The ones who talk the most rarely have power, but the ones who speak with intention, they rule their world. And if you stay until the end of this video, you'll discover how to master the art of mystery and use it to your advantage. Keep watching. The best is yet to come. Every word you speak carries weight. But what most people don't realize is that the more you talk, the more you expose yourself. Not everyone who listens is a friend. Not everyone who smiles has good intentions. And the more people know about you, the easier it is for them to use your own words against you. It starts subtly. You share your dreams, and someone plants a seed of doubt. You reveal your struggles, and suddenly people see you as weak. You open up about your mistakes, and now that's all they remember about you. Humans have a natural tendency to focus on flaws, weaknesses, and failures because it makes them feel better about themselves. People judge. It's in their nature. They categorize you based on the information you give them. If you tell them about your fears, they will see you as fearful. If you admit your insecurities, they will see you as weak. And if you reveal your future plans, they will either discourage you, copy you, or silently hope you fail. Then comes manipulation. Your words can be twisted, reshaped, and thrown back at you when you least expect it. Have you ever confided in someone only for them to later use your own words to discredit or embarrass you? That's because information is power. And when you give too much of it away, you hand others the tools to control your narrative. Silence is your shield when you speak, lest you give people nothing to use against you. When you keep your thoughts private, no one can predict your next move. And when you control your words, you control your reality. The most powerful people understand this. They listen more than they speak. They observe more than they explain. And when they do speak, they choose their words carefully. because they know that in a world full of talkers, the quiet ones always hold the power. Trust is a dangerous illusion. People assume that if someone listens to them, if someone seems interested in their words, then that person must be trustworthy, but that's far from the truth. The reality is most people are not listening to understand, they're listening to respond. They collect information, sometimes unknowingly, sometimes with intention, and when the time comes, that information can be used in ways you never expected. People change, friendships fade, loyalties shift. The person who once cheered for you might later turn against you. And if they know too much, they hold power over you. They know what makes you doubt yourself. They know your weak points, your fears, your insecurities, and when their intentions change, they can use all of it against you. Many people have learned this lesson the hard way. They trusted too soon, shared too much, and ended up betrayed. A private conversation turned into gossip. A personal struggle became a topic of discussion. A secret dream was laughed at behind closed doors. This is why the wise move differently. They don't rush to trust. They don't reveal everything. They understand that true trust is earned, not given freely. They observe before they speak. They test people's intentions. And most importantly, they keep their deepest thoughts locked away, only sharing them with those who have proven their loyalty over time. Because in a world where people shift like the wind, your silence is your security, your privacy is your protection, and the less people know, the less power they have over you. Predictability is a weakness. The more people can predict your actions, the easier it is for them to control, manipulate, or sabotage you. But when you become unpredictable, when no one knows your next move, you gain power. Most people live openly. They announce their plans, they explain their decisions, they reveal their thoughts without hesitation, and in doing so they make themselves easy to read, easy to influence, easy to stop. When people know what you're going to do, they can prepare, they can compete with you, they can plant doubt in your mind, they can talk you out of your goals. But when you move in silence, when you keep your ambitions private, no one can interfere, no one can set traps, no one can block a path. They don't even know you're walking. Mystery creates strength. When you speakless people start to wonder, they don't know what you're thinking, they don't know what you're planning, and that makes them uneasy. It forces them to respect you. It makes them cautious because uncertainty is intimidating. The greatest minds, the most successful people, the most powerful individuals all have one thing in common. They don't explain themselves, they act, they move, they strategize. And by the time the world realizes what they've done, it's already too late to stop them. So if you want to stay in control, become unpredictable. Keep your plans to yourself. Let your actions surprise people. Because the less they know, the less they can do to stop you. Every word you speak, every thought you share, every secret you reveal, it all takes energy, and energy is not unlimited. The more you waste on unnecessary conversations, the less you have for what truly matters. Talking drains you, explaining yourself drains you, defending your choices, justifying your actions, seeking validation, it all steals your mental strength and for what to be understood by people who may not even care to impress those who are too distracted with their own lives. Most people don't realize this. They talk endlessly, sharing every detail of their plans, their struggles, their emotions. And in the end, they feel exhausted, drained, empty. Because words take power away. They take focus away. They give away control. But when you guard your energy, when you speak with intention, when you choose silence over unnecessary words, you start to feel stronger. You protect your mind from. Use useless distractions. You save your energy for what truly matters. Silence isn't just about keeping secrets. It's about protecting your inner world. It's about valuing yourself enough to not waste your words, to not seek validation, to not give away your peace. So the next time you feel the urge to explain yourself, stop, ask yourself, does this conversation serve me? Does it make me stronger? Or am I just throwing my energy into the wind, hoping for understanding from people who may never truly care your? Energy is sacred, guard it, protect it, because once it's gone, you can never get it back. It's a hard truth to accept, but it will set you free. Most people don't truly care about your problems, your struggles, or your dreams. They might listen, they might nod, they might even offer words of encouragement, but deep down they are more focused on their own lives than on yours. Think about it. How many times have you poured your heart out to someone only to realize later that they forgot everything you said? How many times have you shared your deepest struggles only to feel like no one really understood? That's because people are naturally wired for self-preservation. Their mind is occupied with their own challenges, their own ambitions, their own insecurities. This doesn't mean people are bad. It's just human nature. And once you understand this, you stop expecting too much from others. You stop seeking validation. You stop wasting energy trying to be understood. When you overshare, you think you're creating deeper connections, but often you're just giving people something to talk about, something to judge, something to criticize, and in many cases, something to use against you the moment you stop expecting others to care as much as you. Do you take your power back? You stop looking for approval. You stop explaining yourself. You stop waiting for someone to save you. Instead, you rely on yourself. You protect your mind. You focus on your own growth. Because at the end of the day, the only person who truly understands you, the only person who truly cares about every detail of your life is you. So keep your thoughts close, keep your dreams protected, because the less they know, the more peace you have. Peace is not found in being hearted, is not found in explaining yourself to others. It is found in silence. When you stop wasting energy on unnecessary words, when you stop letting people inside your mind, when you finally understand that not everything needs to be shared. Every time you speak, you invite opinions, you invite judgments, you invite unnecessary noise into your life. The more you share, the more people think they have the right to comment on your choices, your plans, your emotions. And before you know it, your mind is filled with voices that don't belong to you, voices of doubt, criticism, and distraction. But when you stay silent, when you keep your life private, you take back control. You stop allowing people to influence your thinking. You stop giving away your emotional stability. You stop letting the outside world dictate your inner peace. There's power in being selective with your words. There's freedom in keeping certain things to yourself, because the less you say, the less drama you attract. The fewer people know, the fewer opinions you have to deal with. And the more you guard your mind, the more peace you create for yourself. Not everything needs to be explained. Not every feeling needs to be shared. Not every plan needs to be announced. Some things are meant to be kept within you, protected, nurtured, and free from the influence of others. Your silence is not weakness. It is strength. It is discipline. It is the ability to move through life without constantly seeking approval, without constantly explaining yourself, without constantly allowing outside noise to disrupt your inner world. So choose peace over unnecessary words. Choose privacy over validation, because in the end, the less they know, the more control you have over your own life. Respect isn't earned by how much you explain yourself. It's earned by how little you need to. The more you talk, the more people take your words for granted. The more you reveal, the less value your presence holds. People respect what they don't fully understand. They respect those who don't feel the need to constantly prove themselves. But when you always explain, always justify, always let others into your World, you become ordinary, predictable, easy to read, easy to dismiss. Think about the people you admire most. Are they the ones who talk endlessly about themselves? Or are they the ones who carry themselves with quiet confidence, revealing only what is necessary? True respect is built on mystery, on restraint, on the ability to let your actions speak louder than your words. Talking too much also creates opportunities for people to question you. The more you reveal, the more opinions you invite, the more you explain, the more room you give for others to challenge, doubt, or even criticize you. But when you say little, when you move in silence, people have no choice but to respect your presence. Silence commands attention. It forces people to listen. When you do speak, it makes your words more impactful because they are rare. And when you don't constantly explain yourself, people assume you are secure, that you know something they don't. People. So if you want to be respected, stop over-explain, stop trying to prove yourself with words. Let your actions, your results, your energy do the talking, because in a world full of noise, those who master silence always stand out. Your time, your energy, your thoughts, they are valuable, but most people give them away too easily, letting anyone and everyone inside their world. And then they wonder why they feel drained, disrespected, and misunderstood. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves to know what you're thinking, what you're planning, what you're struggling with. When you make yourself too available, people start to take you for granted. They stop valuing your presence. They assume they can have your attention whenever they want, and they don't appreciate it when they do. The truth is, when something is easily accessible, it loses value. That's why people chase what is rare. That's why they respect what is hard to get. And that's why those who hold back, who speak less, who share less, are often the ones who are most respected. When you keep your life private, you create a sense of mystery. People start to wonder about you. They pay more attention. When you do speak, they respect your presence more, because they don't have unlimited access to it. But more importantly, protecting your energy means protecting your peace. It means being selective about who gets to hear your thoughts, who gets to know your struggles, who gets to be a part of your journey, because not everyone is worthy, not everyone has good intentions, and not everyone will appreciate what you have to offer. So set boundaries, guard your time, be intentional about who you let in, because the less accessible you are, the more valuable you become. And the more you protect your energy, the stronger, more focused, and more powerful you will feel every time you speak. You give away a piece of yourself. You reveal your thoughts, your emotions, your weaknesses, sometimes without even realizing it. And once your words are out in the open, they can't be taken back. They can be misinterpreted, twisted, or used against you. People remember what you say, but not always how you meant it. A casual comment can turn into gossip. A simple opinion can be taken as an insult. A moment of vulnerability can be turned into a weapon. You may trust someone today, but what happens if that trust breaks tomorrow? Will they still protect your words, or will they expose them? That SWHY silence is a strategy. It keeps you in control. The less you say, the fewer mistakes you make. The less you reveal, the harder it is for people to judge or manipulate you. Words are powerful, but only when used wisely. Think of the strongest, most influential people. They don't waste words. They speak with intention. They know when to stay silent. They understand that not every thought needs to be shared. Not every opinion needs to be voiced. Not every detail needs to be explained. When you control your words, you control your image, you control how people perceive you, you control what they know, what they assume, what they believe, and that control is power. So before you speak, ask yourself, do these words serve me? Do they add value? Or am I just filling space, giving people more access to my mind than they deserve? Because in the end, it's not what you say that defines you. It's what you choose not to say. In a world full of noise, silence is power. The More you talk, the more you give away, the more you reveal, the easier you are to predict, control, and manipulate. But when you hold back, when you choose your words carefully, you gain something far more valuable: control. When you speak less, people start to pay attention. They listen more intently. Because your words are rare, they start to wonder about you, to respect you, to see you as someone who moves with purpose. Mystery creates curiosity, and curiosity creates influence. Speaking less also gives you the upper hand in any situation. Most people talk without thinking. They reveal their plans, their weaknesses, their emotions without realizing the impact. But those who stay silent observe, they listen, they understand the game before making a move. And when they do speak, their words carry weight. Less talking also means less drama. The fewer people know about your business, the less they can interfere. The less you explain, the fewer opinions you have to deal with. The less you reveal, the less judgment you attract. Successful people, powerful people, disciplined people all have one thing in common: they don't waste words. They don't seek validation through talking. They don't explain themselves to those who don't matter. They move in silence and let their results speak. So if you want more respect, more control, more peace, start saying less. Guard your words, protect your energy, let people wonder. Because in the end, the less they know, the stronger you become. Your dreams are fragile, your goals are delicate. The moment you share them with the wrong people, you risk losing them, not because they will take them away, but because they will plant doubt in your mind, weaken your confidence, and make you question yourself. Most people don't want to see you succeed, not because they hate you, but because your growth reminds them of their own stagnation. Your ambition highlights their lack of progress. And instead of supporting you, they project their own fears onto you. Are you sure that will work? What if you fail? Maybe you should try something safer. Doubt is contagious. The wrong words at the wrong time can kill your motivation. A single negative comment can shake your belief. A careless remark can make you hesitate, and hesitation is the enemy of progress. That's why the most successful people move in silence. They don't announce their goals. They don't seek approval. Don't explain their plans. They work in the shadows, letting their actions speak for them. And by the time the world sees their success, it's already too late to stop them. Your vision is yours alone. No one else needs to understand it. No one else needs to approve of it. Keep it to yourself, protect it, nurture it. Let your success be the only announcement you make, because the less they know, the more unstoppable you become in a world where everyone is desperate to be heard. Silence is a rare and powerful weapon. It keeps people guessing. It forces them to wonder. It makes them uneasy because they don't know what you're thinking, what you're planning, or what you truly feel. And that uncertainty gives you power. Most people fear silence. They rush to fill it with words, explanation, and justifications. But in doing so, they expose themselves. They reveal too much too soon to the wrong people. They give away their leverage without realizing it. But those who master silence hold the advantage. They listen while others talk. They observe while others reveal. They control their emotions while others react. And because they say little, their words, when spoken, carry weight. Silence is also a shield. It protects you from unnecessary conflict, from draining conversations, from people who only seek to waste your time and energy. When you stay silent, you refuse to engage in meaningless debates. You refuse to give power to those who try to provoke you. You refuse to let outside noise disrupt your inner peace. Not every thought needs to be spoken. Not every emotion needs to be expressed. Not every question needs an answer. Sometimes the strongest response is no response at all. So use silence to your advantage. Let people wonder, let them assume, let them question, because the more they try to figure you out, the more control you have. And in the end, the less they know, the more powerful you become. Talking about your plans gives a temporary high. It feels good to share your ambitions, to hear encouragement, to get validation. But validation doesn't build success. Success, execution does. And execution happens in silence. The more you talk about what you're going to do, the less energy you have to actually do it. You get trapped in a cycle of seeking approval instead of taking action. You give people a front row seat to your struggles before you even have results to show, and in the process, you expose yourself to doubt, criticism, and negativity that can slow you down. But when you move in silence, there is no interference. No one can shoot down a plan they don't know exists. No one can discourage a dream they haven't heard about. No one can stop what they can't see coming. The most successful people understand this. They don't announce their every move. They don't seek applause before they've won. They work quietly, patiently, relentlessly. And by the time the world realizes what they've done, the victory is already secured. You don't need to prove yourself with words. Let your results be the proof. Let your growth speak louder than any explanation. Let your success be the only response to those who doubted you. Because in the end, those who talk about their goals may impress people for a moment, but those who achieve them in silence, they leave the world in awe. When people know too much about you, they feel entitled to your life. They think they understand you, that they can predict your next move, that they have the right to comment on your choices. But when you stay silent, when you keep your life private, you create an element of mystery that forces them to wonder. Mystery is powerful. It keeps people intrigued. It makes them respect you. It forces them to pay attention because they don't know what's coming next. And in a world where everyone overshares, those who remain private, standout people can't ruin what they don't know. They can't attack what can't see. They can't interfere with a plan that only exists in your mind. The less they know, the fewer opinions you have to deal with, the less they know, the more in control you stay. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't need to justify your decisions. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Let them assume, let them guess, let them wonder. Because the more they wonder, the more control you have. And in the end, true power belongs to those who don't need to be understood, only respected. Real strength isn't found in how much you share. It's found in what you choose to withhold. The more people know about you, the more control they have over your emotions, your decisions, and your mindset. But when you stay silent, when you refuse to let the world inside your every thought, you take back your power. Every time you speak, you give others a piece of your mind. You allow them to form opinions, to judge, to question, to analyze. But when you hold back, you remain in control. No one can predict your next move. No one can interfere with your growth. No one can use your words against you because you never gave them the chance. Look at the people who command the most respect. They don't seek attention. They don't explain themselves to everyone. They don't try to prove anything. They let their actions speak. They let their success do the talking. You don't need to convince the world of your worth. You don't need to announce your plans. You don't need to explain your dreams. Keep them to yourself. Let them grow in silence. And when the time is right, let your success make the only statement you'll ever need. Because in the end, your greatest power isn't in what you say, it's in what you don't say. Weak people crave attention. They overshare, they seek validation. They need to be heard. They believe that talking about their plans, their struggles, and their emotions makes them powerful. But real strength doesn't come from words. It comes from restraint. The strongest people don't waste energy explaining themselves. They don't beg to be understood. They don't seek approval from those who don't matter. Instead, they focus on action. They focus on discipline. They move in silence and let their results speak for them. Silence creates distance. It separates those who are in control from those who are easily influenced. When you don't react to every opinion, when you don't explain every decision, when you don't give people access to your every thought, you become untouchable. Most people talk because they're uncomfortable with silence. But those who brace silence hold the true power. They don't let outside noise affect their inner peace. They don't let distractions pull them away from their goals. They don't let unnecessary words drain their energy. So ask yourself, are you speaking out of strength or weakness? Are you talking because it serves you or because you feel the need to be heard? Because the strongest people don't talk to prove their worth. They let their success do that for them. In a world where everyone is eager to share their every move, there's something powerful about staying quiet. The less people know about you, the less they can interfere, the less they can doubt you, and the less they can influence your decisions. Every time you reveal your plans, you open the door for opinions that can create hesitation, self-doubt, and unnecessary pressure. People will question you. Some will secretly hope you fail. Others will try to discourage you under the mask of advice. But when you keep your goals to yourself, you eliminate all of that. You move freely, without distractions, without resistance, without the weight of outside expectations. The most successful people don't announce what they're going to do. They just do it. They don't give warnings. They don't ask for approval. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They work in silence, and by the time people realize what they've done, it's already too late to stop them. Privacy is not about hiding. It's about protecting your energy, your focus, your confidence. When people don't know what's coming, they can't prepare for it. They can't sabotage it. They can't slow you down. So move quietly, let them wonder, let them assume. And when the results speak for themselves, they'll realize too late that you are always 10 steps ahead. The moment you stop explaining yourself, you take back control. The moment you stop seeking approval, you gain freedom. And the moment you stop letting people inside your every thought, you become unpredictable. Being unpredictable is power. When people can't read you, they can't manipulate you. When they don't know your next move, they can't interfere. When they don't understand you fully, they are forced to respect you. Because mystery makes people cautious. It makes them think twice before underestimating you. Most people talk because they want to feel important. They believe that sharing everything will make them more respected, more accepted, more understood. But true power comes from doing the opposite. The less you reveal, the more people have to assume, and assumptions create uncertainty. Silence also gives you time to think, to move wisely, to observe before acting. People who talk too much often expose themselves before they're ready. They rush to share before they even have something to show, and in doing so, they weaken their own position. But when you move in silence, you stay ahead, you control the narrative, you eliminate distractions, you create a presence that speaks louder than words ever could. So, if you want real power, stop explaining, stop announcing, stop proving. Just work, just move, just win, and let the results speak for you too. Many people waste energy trying to prove themselves. They want others to see their progress, to acknowledge their efforts, to recognize their potential. But real success doesn't need validation. It doesn't need an audience. It only needs disciplined focus and silence. The most powerful moves are made in the dark. The most life-changing decisions are made in solitude. And the greatest transformations happen when no one is watching. Because when you remove outside opinions, you remove doubt. When you stop explaining, you stop seeking approval. And when you stop seeking approval, you become people don't need to know your struggles. They don't need to know your next step. They don't need to see the process. Let them wonder, let them assume, let them doubt. Because by the time they realize what you've built, it will be too late for them to question it. Your success doesn't need to be announced. It doesn't need permission. It doesn't need applause. It only needs you to show up every single day and do the work in silence, without distractions, without the need to be seen, because when the results speak, there's nothing left to say.